So the weirdest thing happened a couple of minutes ago. I'm standing here in my office, minding my own business. Guy walks by, knocks on the glass, says, "You using the phone?" No, I'm changing my clothes. Have you seen my cape anywhere? You know, like, oh my God. Oh, by the way, there's a whole new definition of tagging going on here. You might need to get the window washer in. Yeah, all right, fine. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this absolutely spectacular day in downtown St. Catharines. This is season 2. It's episode 30. Episode 30 already of the second season. I think we're the longest running television live show in 2021. We are Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. That would be me. We are fueled by Gale's Gas Bars, and as always, it's a pleasure to have them along for the ride. We are streamed by WeeStreem and executively produced. We'll talk more about that as the show goes on. Also supported by Performance Heating and Air. Thank you, Carlo and his gang. We also appreciate NWIC, Niagara's high-speed internet, for being here. Verge Insurance as well for joining the party. To Nick and Niagara 411 contributors like you, also thank you. Up to Niagara's poorhouse in downtown, not poorhouse, poorhouse in downtown St. Catharines. Fiddlers, thank you for allowing us to sit once again in your lovely window. Come on in, and we'll fill you in on what's going on with the show today. We're going to introduce you, or I guess reintroduce you, to Niagara's newest attraction that opens on Friday, and it is so cool. I'm so excited about that, and we'll fill you in more as the show goes on. David Adames from the Niagara Parks Commission going to be joining us to tell us all about it. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome to a really warm day here in the elegant window of Fiddler's Poorhouse on St. Paul Street in downtown St. Catharines. I apologize in advance for having to do the mopping of the brow from time to time as the show wears on. Kevin Jack is our executive producer and co-host of this shindig that we do here every week. Now, we are here on a different day and at a different time, and we will explain why. The reason being that it's odd, but people do have lives beyond their professional requirements. Our professional requirement would normally have us here every single Thursday at noon until 1:30. Well, Kevin decided that, I don't know why, but he needs to spend some time with his family. I mean, talk about priorities getting screwed up. Anyway, and I had to take a couple of weeks off, and we made some arrangements. So we're trying to juggle everybody's time frames and commitments over the course of this summer, and we'll move the show around a little bit as the season progresses. But again, the internet being what it is, Niagara 411 being what it is, you can catch up with us anytime, anywhere, after the broadcast, during the broadcast, whatever. And speaking of which, during the broadcast, as it says right there on the bottom part of your screen, all you have to do is click the link in the post and you will be scooted into our green room, Zoom room. Make sure you got your camera on and your audio clicked in and all that other stuff, and Kevin will make sure that you can come on and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. We do not have to necessarily set the theme for you. You're more than welcome to comment on anything it is that we talk about, but you're also more than welcome to bring up anything at all that has been on your mind since we met last almost a week ago. So keep that in mind. It is your show. It is Niagara's show. We try to connect Niagara to Niagarans and keep people informed about what's going on. Because these days in the world of media, things are a little bit watered down from what they used to be. Kevin, you find that it's, in spite of this age of techno communications, we don't always know what's going on through traditional sources. You have to come to sources like this a lot of times to really find out what's happening.
Yeah, it's almost, can I say there's too much media?
Yes.
There's almost too much media that it's hard to keep it straight. Back in the day when there were 13 channels, or what'd you have growing up? 2, 3 channels, black and white?
Yeah, well, actually, I think we had 5.
But back in the day when there were 5 channels, there's 1 of 5 choices, and I get all my info there.
3 of them were out of Buffalo because we were lucky enough to live here on the border. So we had ABC, NBC, and CBS. And then we had Channel 9 and Channel 11, which in those days was CFTO, which is now CTV, and CHCH, which is still CHCH. And that was Channel 11 in those days because we picked it up off the air. So, and that was it. Life was simple.
There are so many places to go, but so many people come to Niagara 411, and I hope a lot more people start to engage in this program and see it as a valuable resource.
Absolutely. If you have we see things on Niagara 411 all the time, and unfortunately, a lot of them are unfortunate stories where it's a bike was stolen or a truck was stolen or somebody's lost their way and things of that nature. Well, please feel free to use this venue as you might use Niagara 411. Okay? Think about us as just a live audio and visual version of what you find on Niagara 411 on a daily basis, and we'll be happy to play that role for you. Coming up, I mentioned the fact that we had a Niagara Parks Commission based attraction opening this Friday. It is Friday, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it opens on Friday, finally.
Yeah,
it was
July 30th.
Yeah, originally slated, I think, for Canada Day.
Right. And because of COVID, it didn't happen on schedule at Canada Day, and that being the opening to the public of the Niagara Power Generating Station. There it is, located on the Niagara River Parkway between Chippewa and downtown Niagara Falls, right at the rapids. Now, interesting background on that. There's David Adames. He is going to be joining us at about 20 to 1 today, in about half an hour.
Make that 20 to 12.
20 to 12. See, you change the time. We're robotic. We entertainment people. We can't learn new tricks. 20 to 12. The CEO of the Niagara Parks Commission, David Adames, will be joining us. And of course, that power generating station was built to harness the power of the incredible Niagara Rapids above the falls. And ironically, considering we talk so much about Toronto, the Toronto center of the universe type thing, it was actually originally built to service and provide power to the city of Toronto. It wasn't to provide power to the city of Niagara Falls or St. Catharines, Fort Erie, whatever. It was actually, and some publications still today, even Wikipedia refers to that facility as the Toronto Power Generating Station. So it's kind of interesting. But it went out of service, I think, in 1974. David will tell us more about that, but I think that was the date that it stopped operating for its original purpose. And has just been sitting there. And I was absolutely thrilled when they announced that it would be turned into a tourist attraction and they would be giving tours, because it's a building that has mesmerized me ever since I was a little tyke here in Niagara. And I drive by that thing and I go, wow, wouldn't it be cool to see what's inside there? Well, now we're going to be able to see what's inside there. And David will be here, as I mentioned, about 20 to 12 to fill us in on how this is going to work. Now, there's going to be a couple of phases. The first phase opens Friday, and then a lower phase, perhaps even a more fascinating one after that. So, details on that. I'm so excited I can't stop talking about it. But so I will shut up now, and or I'll steal all of David's thunder, and that'll be the end of it. Also, want to give a tip of the brand new hat. See this, the chapeau, to Kevin and his staff, and the wonderful facility that is Beau Chapeau Hat Shop on Queen Street in Niagara on the lake. Kevin, not my Kevin, their Kevin Neufeld, owner of Beau Chapeau, sort of got wind of the fact. All you have to do is turn on your Facebook page and see that I kind of like hats. So, because I wear one every week. So he said, well, why don't you wear some of ours? Well, the key is the other hats I've been wearing on the program came from there that I've owned for a long time. So long story short, I went shopping a couple days ago and bought 4 hats. 4.
They saw you coming, eh?
They did. And the only reason I bought 4 is I couldn't decide which one not to buy. So get them all. And this is one of them. Now, it's a very key kind of chapeau for today because it is this particular hat. It's a straw hat. This particular hat stops approximately 95% of all UV rays from hitting your head. And when you are follically challenged on the back, such as I am, sitting in a window, such as I am, that's a big deal. So that's pretty cool. And we'll sort of unveil a few of them in the weeks to come as well. So also the young lady that served me at Beau Chapeau hat shop was Julia, and she was spectacular. So thank you, Julia, for having patience with somebody that has a really tough time making decisions. Anyway, Kevin, here we are on episode 30. Summers being what they are, they're strange news cycles. Occasionally there's a litany of stories in which nothing is happening, stories that have no story, and then there all of a sudden something pops up that is a big story. And there's a big story, and unfortunately a sad one, that took place in Lincoln within the last 24 hours. Was it not, Kev? And a gentleman, I think he was 51, yeah. The deceased identified as a 51-year-old man from Grimsby. He was a cyclist and had an interaction with a car, and that never turns out good for the cyclist. So the upshot of this, though, too, was the fact that it was a fail to remain encounter. The suspect car did not stay on the scene. They have a pretty good description of the car. They have a pretty good description of the fellow that was driving the car. 4-door sedan described as a gray, blue, or light green. And so I can only imagine that this collision was something horrendous, because look at the damage they expect to be in the car. A hole in the glass of the windshield near the roofline, passenger side dented roof, damage to the front bumper and hood. The car has dark tinted windows. Kevin, that's a lot of damage to a vehicle colliding with a cyclist. The male is white, in his 30s, heavy-set build, approximately 6 feet tall, dark-colored hair, wearing a gray jacket or sweater, a red check shirt. Last seen northbound, or west. What does that say, Kev? Last seen westbound on the North Service Road.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so the police are encouraging this suspect to contact legal consult and turn himself in so everything goes smoothly and safely and quietly, because they will find this guy. I mean, they have enough description of the car and of him that it's not something that is going to be going on for long, so it might as well be done peacefully. All right.
Yeah, and Lee, there's a lot of action in the comments. The thing that I think struck a lot of people is the details that are available for something that was a fail to remain, or let's just call it a hit and run.
Yeah, I'm surprised of how many people must have witnessed this.
That's what I'm assuming. There was enough cars in the area, maybe going the other way, that saw what happened and were able to get some details of the vehicle, and maybe they stopped.
And if they knew what the guy was wearing, he must have been out of the car at some point.
So there's a lot of comments on Niagara 411.
Yeah.
And here, I'll just share some of them with you.
How does anyone leave someone to die on the side of the road? Well, that's where the rubber, pardon the phrase, hits the road. I don't care if this person is scared. Imagine how scared this person who got hit was. So inhuman and downright heartless. I hope that he doesn't just get a slap on the wrist. No, he won't. A life was taken here, etc. Or he was captured on camera. Houses have cameras and you have no idea where he went. Yeah, and I suppose that's another thing, Kevin. There are dash cams and other things that people have today that we didn't have ages ago. So where all of those detailed descriptions came from, we can't really say.
And here you go. This is interesting, Lee, in the comments as well. Is somebody has gone so far now, they are going to hold a memorial ride coming up on Wednesday.
Wow. A shame that it has to be held at all. And I mean, cyclists and motorists have had a grudging kind of relationship for many years. There's this phrase that became popular in British Columbia because there's so many cyclists out there where I lived. It's called Share the Road, and there were big advertising campaigns to try to enlighten everybody, cyclists as well as drivers, to be a heads-up sharer of the road. And in no way am I casting shade on this poor man that passed away, but we don't know the circumstances of that collision either, but it must have been a fairly violent one for that kind of damage to be expected to the vehicle. And to the family and friends of that gentleman, our condolences, sincere condolences. Kevin, another thing that got a lot of comments over the past week was our little piece that didn't take too long. I think it was like 2 or 3 minute piece that we did on Marineland last week. Dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people weighed in on the fact that Marineland should or shouldn't be allowed to continue after it was officially sanctioned or recognized by the provincial government that they had insufficient water quality supplies for their animals. So we don't know where that's going. It'll be in the courts like every other thing, but a lot of comments, a lot of people weighing in on this, and of course going into what we were talking about as well in conjunction with that topic last week, Kev, was zoos and any sort of animals for public pleasure or entertainment, I suppose, at all. And it's something that we're going to be dealing with for a long time. And I was thinking about the zoo thing. One of my favorite outings when I was a youngster is when the family or families and friends got together and we went to the Buffalo Zoo. That was long before the days of the expanded Toronto Zoo and all that, the wonderful things they did there as far as putting animals in natural habitats, etc. We went to see animals that were in captivity. I make no bones about it. And I learned a lot by loving to watch those animals and read about them, etc. And then I think back, should I have even had a chance to be there? Should we do those things? Should any zoo be allowed to continue unabated by regulation or whatever? I don't know. But it's a topic we're not going to be done with for quite some time. And Kevin, did you go to, I know you and I are sort of in different generations, but did your family do the zoo thing at all?
Yeah, 100%. Used to go to Toronto Zoo on school trips growing up as a family. We'll bring the kids to Safari Niagara or zoos, and we'll do that mostly for the splash pad, but also for the animals. When we talk to this, I kind of feel the same as you do. This isn't the hill I'm going to die on.
Right.
If public sentiment sways to the point that we're closing all zoos and rehabitating all the animals, I'd be 100% for that. But as long as they're allowed, I guess I'll continue to go. Does that make me a hypocrite? I think a lot of people probably feel that way.
Yeah. Well, we're torn because we don't want to think that we're doing something wrong, that we're doing something inhumane.
Right.
But we have this sort of secret pleasure of having contact with these creatures.
Yeah, but hey, my kids can go feed the giraffes just in Stevensville.
Yeah.
So now that said, technology has changed a lot of things. The argument of 30, 40, 70 years ago of, well, where else am I going to be able to see this? Well, nowadays, online, on the internet, There's a million movies available if you want to learn about these animals, if you want to see
know.
these animals.
But it's not this. It's not the same. Like I said, we did the hat shopping in Niagara on the Lake, and my wife and I sat down at one of the bistros on Queen Street, had a light lunch, and the horses and the carriages were going by, and I thought, and the horses look healthy. They don't look mistreated. Of course, I'm not a horse expert. I don't know, but they look so lovely, you know?
Right. On the other side of that, do we need that? But then you go into horse racing. Do we need horse racing? That's purely for our amusement. So there's a lot of things that are antiquated, and maybe it's taking us a long time to catch up. We'd love to hear from anybody. So many comments on that. I was throwing a few of them on the screen. If anybody has an opinion one way or the other, feel free to just click on that Zoom link and join the program.
Yeah, by all means, do that. Want to mention something that was on Niagara 411. And yeah, this is a national company, but they're local outlets. I just want to mention this to you quickly. It says, hey, Niagara, this year we're starting the Smile Cookie pre-orders early. Some people will love that. After this year, I think one thing we can all agree on is we all need a smile. Well, this September, the Tim Hortons Smile Cookie campaign returns, and this year we are collecting pre-orders early. This year, purchase a Smile Cookie at any of the 3 Font Hill Tim Hortons locations, and proceeds will be directed to Wellspring, Niagara. There are the locations for you right there. 2325 Highway 20 East, 140 Highway 20 East, and 151 Highway 20 West. All right. Smile Cookie campaign will be taking place, it says there, from September 13th to 19th, but they're taking pre-orders right now. All right? And bulk sales and all sorts of things. All right? So there you go. And all the proceeds going to Wellspring, Niagara. Kevin, have you experienced, and I'd be interested in anybody else who has experienced some sort of, what can we call it? COVID harassment or COVID backlash since things have kind of sort of opened up. People are, in some cases, more wound up now than they were during the lockdowns. Have you experienced any of this? Have you seen this?
In dribs and drabs?
Yeah. But we were at one of our favorite eateries in Niagara with friends for an anniversary for a couple that we've known for a long, long time, and the other couple as well. I mean, we're long time, 40 some odd years. We've socialized together and recognized birthdays and anniversaries and things of that nature. And we had fun. We enjoyed the meal, enjoyed each other's company. We enjoyed the good humor of our server at the restaurant. She was just terrific. And at the end of the dinner, I mean, she had no idea who we were. I mean, it wasn't like there was anything special. It was just 6 people out enjoying a meal. And she presented all 6 of us with, courtesy of the management, a small aperitif, if you will. Limoncello, as a matter of fact. It was lovely. And we said, why is this? Because we never told her the couple was celebrating an anniversary or anything. So there was no occasion that she was aware of that we were celebrating. And she said, well, I just enjoyed serving you because I run into so many grumpy people. And we said, really? She said, yeah. Since people, and we were dining inside, and following all the rules, of course, and all that stuff. But she said, since this COVID thing has loosened up, I run into a lot of grumpy people. And we said, why is that? I don't know. I think she just says people seem to be more stressed and angry now. Now, this is a lovely restaurant. People are out for a nice meal. Why would they be angry? Why would they be grumpy with the server? It makes no sense to me. So there must be some sort of innate internal thing. Well, Kevin, you mentioned the whole kids being out of school and the stress of your business and things. So maybe there's like a PTSD thing lingering that we're not aware of.
Possibly, but you'd think everybody would just be happy to be back in a restaurant again.
I know.
And enjoying themselves.
That's what we were talking about. That's why we were so surprised. Yeah, why are people grumpy?
Last week, Lee, now Fiddler's Poorhouse not open today until I think 3 p.m. Last week when we were doing the show, do you know how nice it was to sit in here afterwards,
with
inside,
people?
with people?
Yeah, we had lunch together and chatted with the folks. It's nice.
It was nice. Now, that said, when you're in that industry, you have to remember that you're always dealing with people that are hungry. You know, for the most part.
Yeah, that's true.
As a waiter or waitress or what have you, when people walk in, they're hungry. And a lot of times, you know, people get hangry.
But they're not starving. They're in an upscale restaurant. They might be hungry, but they're not starving. They know where their next meal's coming from. It's coming from over there.
Yeah, let's make a difference.
And you're going to pay good money to sit there and be grumpy? Why? I mean, you can stay home, be grumpy for free.
Some people are just grumpy. I mean, when you talk to people in the service industry, or really any industry that doesn't discriminate, and what I mean by that is you talk to somebody who works in the hospital, all walks of life at some point are coming to the hospital.
Yes.
Or you talk to a doctor, or if you talk to somebody in the service industry, at some point, all walks of life are coming through your doors. So they wouldn't be people that you and I socialize with, because last time we went out with them, they were grumpy. I'm not going out with them again.
But
birds of a feather.
But there are different, people are going to, sooner or later, everybody's going to be going to a hospital. Everybody's going to be going to a dentist. Everybody's going to be going for a colonoscopy. I can understand you being grumpy going to these places because they're not usually pleasant experiences. But a nice restaurant where people are treating you nicely and bringing you food that you're paying for, why are you grumpy?
How was your meal, by the way?
Excellent.
What did you have?
I had veal parmesan with the fettuccine alfredo and the little bread.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Something, Lee, that we didn't talk about, but I wanted to make note of.
Of course.
And it's on Niagara 411. Nick has recently made a change in the way that he handles a lot of community posts. And there's a community section up at the top, and he put a post to remind people about it this week. And I don't know if you've ever navigated over to it.
I have. But it's something that you can actually post yourself, right? It says, a reminder, folks, we have a community page that all members in good standing can post to. So that's for things like your lost dog or your found cat or whatever it is that's happening, community style posts like that. All lost or found pets, cell phones, wallets, purses, etc. will be located in this section. It'll help me out a great deal. Because Nick would obviously spend an awful lot of his own time taking your communications and turning them into a post on Niagara 411, and there are a lot of these community-style announcements, and they deserve to be seen, of course, because we've reconnected people and with their lost pets and all sorts of lost articles and all kinds of things. But it's easier if you just go in there and do it yourself, like there, Apple Watch with pink band on and black protection case. So there you go. So not only to post something for yourself, it might be a good idea to click on that community page and scroll through it from time to time. If you don't do that, you might want to start taking a daily scroll through the community page, and you might see something that you can help someone else with, was my point. Whether you've lost something or not, other people have, and you might be able to help them out, and you might not even know it until you scroll through that area. So now I think Nick tried to do this at one time before, but it got some people got a little confused. Not Nick's fault. It was just, people don't like change. Is what it boils down to. But we're going to try it again here. And
yeah, I mean, the stuff we've been scrolling through, Lee, this is
there.
in the last 24, 48 hours.
Yeah. And this is information that you might really want to see. And yet it's easy for you to post yourself or for others to post themselves and for you to go in and have a look and see what the heck's going on. I heard a couple of guys talking this morning. I see that coyote post. And they were talking about the fact that now in the north end of St. Catharines, sort of where Linwell Road meets Ontario Street, just before you get to the highway there, a couple of families now. This one fellow said, I saw a mom and 4 pups, cubs, whatever you call them, when they're little coyotes. And this fellow said, and somebody else saw another one. So there are a couple of young coyote families in that area. Keep an eye on your small pets, especially if you live in that part of town. They're just trying to grow up with their families. And the sad part about it is, we've talked about this before, and I apologize for mentioning it again or seeming a little bit over the top with it, but I'm an animal guy. I can't help it. And these coyotes cannot be relocated. So if you call in the authorities, they have to hunt them and kill them, and that's kind of someplace I wouldn't like to see us go. So just give them a wide berth, and hopefully they won't cause any problems. Please excuse my interruption. There, see that scooter? I'm really hoping to find somebody who could help us get a deal on a replacement scooter for this lady. Now see, there's a really good sort of reaching out to the greater community for help. And this is when things like Facebook can be used for good instead of evil. Anything can be used for good instead of evil. And that's a prime example. Scooter stolen, destroyed, trying to get a replacement. All right.
You just want to get to the story. Here you go.
Yeah. Times are tough these days. Some people are making it a lot harder for others. Carla's fibromyalgia, can't walk very far. She's one of the people using their scooter for true mobility reasons. I like to see that, because you see a lot of people and you wonder, why are they in one of those things? But there you go. It allows her to be independent. Little things like going to get groceries on her own are very important. Last week, thieves stole her scooter, completely destroyed it. They spray painted it. They cut all of the wires. Like, why? There's somebody that's angry with the world for some bizarre reason. Smashed the ignition, stole the battery and the basket. It was literally stripped of anything that made it run. And there's now been this GoFundMe process started in the hopes of raising a few bucks to help her buy a new scooter. So, God. Kevin, you hear good stories, great Good Samaritan stories, and then you read something like that, you wonder, where the hell do these people come from? Mad at the world for some bizarre reason, and they take it out on a lady that needs this for her mental health and physical well-being.
And then right after, they go and dine in the same restaurant that you're eating in.
Yeah.
It's got to be the same.
And they're grumpy.
They're absolutely grumpy. Who would do that? Now, also on Niagara 411, Lee, I'm not sure if you saw that this week, but similarly, a car was broken into and then set on fire, and I don't understand the angst.
Yeah, somebody's watching too much Sopranos TV or something. I don't know. Well, we broke into the car. We don't want any fingerprints to be found, so let's torch it. Really? It's not NCIS you're dealing with here.
So what do you got there? Can you read that?
Yeah. Car break-in and arson in Feulled, Albert Street West, across from Rexall. So we're talking a downtown location, nighttime, between 10:30 at night, 7 in the morning. Car broken into, set on fire. No damage to the home close to the vehicle. So this was parked at somebody's house,
or maybe on the street, like
or on the street,
out in front of the house.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of this?
And trust me, to the mental midgets that did this, the chances are you left some trace of yourself behind, whether the fire happened or not. Look at that. Obviously, God bless insurance in these cases. But anyway.
But usually these thieves are after, the change in your ashtray.
Usually, yeah. The thing that always bugs me about a car theft, somebody being in your car, I one time, actually more than once, but only one time did I have documents taken when somebody broke into my car. And of course your address is there and the whole 9 yards, and you really feel violated. You're looking over your shoulder. It makes you almost want to move because people know where you live now. And it's, I don't know, maybe I'm paranoid. I got over it, but for a couple of days, it was pretty disturbing that somebody had been in my space. It's like somebody breaking into your house. You feel terribly violated. It's like some cretin is touching your stuff and going through your belongings. I mean, it's not like going through your panty drawer, but you know what I mean. It's just like, ugh. Anyway, so yes, we live in a strange time. COVID. We were talking about COVID a little while ago. Something happened in the professional sports world, and we've talked about before how watching sporting events on television kind of makes us shake our heads, Kevin. While we were going through all these lockdowns, you'd tune in a professional golf tournament or something, and you'd see throngs of thousands of people lining the galleries watching these tournaments. Okay, well now, as you know, the Olympics are on in Tokyo. As of the last Summer Olympics, they added golf to the list of sports that would be competing at the Olympics. So, before the people that made the teams for their respective countries went to Tokyo, they had to, of course, be tested for COVID-19. There's a professional golfer. He's originally from Spain, lives in the U.S. now, but he would be golfing under the flag of Spain, John Rahm. You see the post there, and Bryson DeChambeau of the United States. They both have to withdraw from the Olympics after a positive COVID test. I am not surprised, because they have been competing for ages now, for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, with throngs of people all over the place wanting their autographs and all the rest of it. And there has been, I've seen no masks on caddies or like anybody at these events. So now we've got one from the American team and one from the Spanish team that are not allowed to compete. That in and of itself is just it's a footnote in the COVID story. However, the John Rahm story is interesting. 6 weeks ago, about 7 now, he tested positive for COVID-19. He was leading a tournament at the Memorial, which is a big tournament in the Midwest of the United States. He was leading the tournament, and in the final round, they pulled him off the course, told him that he tested positive, and he was out, had to withdraw. Okay, flash forward a month, and he wins the U.S. Open, and $2.225 million to boot. Now, 2 weeks after that, he tests positive for COVID-19 again. Kevin, does anyone really, really think that he wasn't positive all that time? Like, how do you get tested 6 to 7 weeks ago, then you participate in the biggest golf tournament in the world, then you test positive again?
I don't know. And it just lends itself to a lot of, I'll say, the anti-vaxxers in that conversation about how the testing to begin with is flawed. And I don't know, I side on the side of science.
I do
but when
too.
you see things like this, you go, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Positive, then negative, and then positive again.
Yeah.
Well, how did that happen? Now,
I don't know.
Just so you know, Lee, we do have David at Ames sitting in the green room. We'll get to him in just a second.
Yeah.
While we're talking about the Olympics, though, let's just do a medal count here. And I don't think there were any fireworks or podium finishes for Canada overnight, but I've been hooked to watching these things late night.
Have you?
And, oh, absolutely. Watched the women's skateboard last night, the men's skateboard the night before.
The teenagers dominated the skateboarding thing, I guess.
The women yesterday, they were like 13 and 16-year-olds that were on the podium. They're absolutely fearless, incredibly talented from Brazil and Japan and China. It was incredible to see them do what they do and ply their craft on the world's biggest stage. And congratulations to, I believe it was, the swimmer's name, Maggie McCoy, from just up the 403 in Woodstock.
Maggie McSomething.
Just up the 403 in Woodstock. She won a gold medal in the women's 100-meter butterfly. Canada's very first gold.
And Canada set some sort of historical record. I didn't have time this morning to read the details of it, by winning, I think it was bronze in judo. And I think it's Canada's first ever medal in that sport, considering that they're competing in Japan, and much of the Asian community was weaned on this kind of activity. I don't understand the details of it, but I think it's Canada's first. It's a historic win, anyway, even to get the bronze in that particular sport. So, to the athletes, I couldn't be happier for you that you're having an opportunity to compete finally in the 2020 Summer Olympics. For Kevin, that's great that you and others, I suppose, are locking into this thing at some point in time. I find myself very unenthused by it. Yeah, I'll probably get up to speed as they go on, but right now I could kind of take it or leave it. But congratulations to all of the athletes.
Really, I found myself with that attitude a week ago, but you know, like I'm a kid in a candy store. All of a sudden, the Olympics are back on, and I'm right there. You know, what is this? Archery? Yeah. I'm in. Archery. You know, I can't wait for a pole vault and discus.
See, that's my problem. Is I'll get addicted to it or locked into it if I tune it in once. Like if I haven't seen any competition yet. If I see even a little bit, then it's like having one potato chip. Like you have to have more.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, I would have said, what is field hockey even doing in the Olympics? Last night, there's Canada playing Great Britain, and I'm in for every second.
See my nose wrinkle? See this?
No,
that's that, what? Air rifle shooting. I saw a thing on the CBC site on the internet. This woman set a world record for air rifle shooting. How does that become an Olympic sport?
Well, they keep adding, but they never take anything away, it seems.
Yeah. I don't know. Air rifles. And I think it was 10 meters. It was some sort of 10-meter record. Well, I have done target shooting in my world in the past, and Kev, when you've got any kind of a rifle with a scope on it, 30 feet, well, it's like the length of the bar here, not even that. And she had a brace and everything that it was sitting on, and okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in, though. I'm telling you, I'm in. I'm watching it all. And go Canada, go.
You are entirely enveloped in the Olympic spirit.
2 weeks ago, what are they doing? It's completely irresponsible in a COVID world with variants happening. Japan's on lockdown. Why are we even holding the games? And now, go Team Canada. What is it? Field hockey. All right. Go, guys.
Go grab your roots toque and have a good time. Atta boy. David Adames is CEO of the Niagara Parks Commission. He joins us now, and we've been waiting to have this conversation for ages. I don't know when we first talked about this, David, but it might have been May, or when was it announced that this was going to happen?
Well, actually, back in March, we first started talking about this opening on July 30th. So it's been a couple of months.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the show. Really super of you to take some of your time out to chat with us today.
A pleasure to be here. We're so proud of this project. It's a really important story for Niagara.
Man, I have been enthralled with that building since I was knee-high to a Coke bottle. Growing up in Niagara, going to school in Chippewa and Niagara Falls. I was born in Niagara Falls. And that building, now, was it 1974 it came out of service? Was I correct with that?
Actually, that was the Toronto Power Station, came out of service in 1974.
Okay.
This building came out of service in 2006.
Oh, it was operating up until then?
Yes, so it was still supplying a company in Fort Erie up until 2006. So it was the last of the old power stations still to be running.
Wow. All right, so give us sort of a real thumbnail sketch of the history of this building that we're going to have a chance to see.
Yeah, so it was constructed between 1901 and 1905, and you have to imagine at the end of the 19th century, heading into the 20th century, there was this newfangled thing called hydroelectric power and electricity, and the notion of powering companies and powering homes. And they had tested electricity showcased at the World's Fair, and then you had these folks looking at the Niagara corridor, so the river, the falls, and how do we harness the power of the Niagara River to generate power? So on both sides of the border, these power stations were constructed. This one opened in 1905, and as we said earlier, it operated until 2006. So now we'll be able to tell the story of this power station, the last intact of its kind, and we have a rich experience for guests starting this Friday.
That is truly, truly exciting. I can't say that I've been excited about too many attractions over the last little while, but there's something here that I think will twig some nostalgic memories for people all over Niagara. And then for people, of course, visiting Niagara, it's a whole new world as to how the river and the rapids have been used. Now, am I correct in still saying that there are going to be 2 phases of this opened up?
That's right. So we're opening phase 1 and stage 1 this Friday, the daytime tour experiences of the power station. Then on Friday, September 3rd, we're opening the evening sound and light show. That's going to be an unbelievable, immersive sound and light show, very innovative projection mapping, reactive technology. It's going to be an outstanding evening experience. So two stages this year. Yeah. Next year, in July of 2022, we're going to open the tail race, or the underground tunnel experience.
Yeah.
So we continue to expand this attraction.
David, what can we expect to see and learn if we purchase our tickets and take a trip through?
Well, a number of things. What I liked what you were talking about at first about the curiosity. So for so many Niagara residents, that curiosity factor of just driving by the station, so wanting to explore the architecture or to understand the engineering of the building, or just learn about how they harnessed the power of the Niagara River, turning it into power. There are so many stories. Who worked in the station? So we have stories of the workers who toiled away in the plant for decades. We have the Indigenous story and the importance of the power of water and what water meant for the Indigenous people. So again, so many things to see and explore. And we have guided tours. We've also put in QR codes on the different exhibits so that people can learn more about the different stories that are there, so they can take that away. We think there's a lot of what I call the stickiness factor, that people will want to return to the power station many times, whether it's for our future Science Saturdays or whether it's for the tail race experience that will open in 2022. So many reasons to explore the Niagara Parks Power Station.
And now that we are apparently going to be re-energizing our school system, it will be just one of those great trips for various school kids to get a chance to see.
Yeah, in fact, last night I had an educator reach out, and she wants more information about our school program. So our sales team is getting that information back out today. So to your point, school tours, workshops on weekends. So we're going to be building out more of those education elements in the coming months and years. And again, that's another key message for this attraction, is that we're going to continue to phase content, phase opportunities. So come in 2021, but it'll be more in 22, 23, 24, and we'll just keep building it out.
Great. Now, one of the challenges always in that area, and it changes from year to year as to what the policies are, is parking and transit and those kinds of things. What is the best advice you can give people that want to come down and see this attraction, as far as the easiest way to get there and the easiest way to park while you're there?
Well, thank you for that question. We have ample parking with the Falls parking lot, which is adjacent to the Niagara Parks Power Station. And in fact, we bundle up parking with the attraction tickets. So to go on niagaraparks.com to purchase tickets.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We've also bundled some other opportunities. We have another pricing option for parking at Rapids View Parking, with a free shuttle from with our WeGo Green Line from Rapids View down to the power station as well. So that's a $10 parking option up at Rapids View. Also, to take WeGo transportation, whether it's the red or blue line from different tourist areas down to Table Rock and then transfer over on our green line to the power station. Or you can also take the Falls Incline Railway from the Falls View tourist area. So there's a number of ways to get down to the power station. And of course, it's in close proximity to Table Rock and the iconic Horseshoe Falls.
Of course. And all this information, I'm assuming, is on your website or on the power station website or whatever?
It sure is. So NiagaraParks.com/power will take your viewers to that information, and for everything from telling the story of the project to ticket purchases as well.
Okay, so what kind of, and I know people are watching that want me to ask this question, so I will. What is it going to cost me to go through it?
Yeah, there's different pricing options. So self-guided tour is $20. If your viewers are interested in a guided tour, that's $37. And again, there's different bundle options available as well. And of course, the children's rates as well, which are lower than the adult rate.
Right.
And then when we open the Currents show September 3rd, the Currents show is $30.
Okay. Great. Well, I for one would want the guided tour, I think. Now, I know I could read for myself, but the guides that you have, are they people that are familiar with the facility, or have they just been trained via script? Because I know sometimes when you go through some of these historic sites, regardless of where they are, if you're actually being led through by someone that has experienced these places, it can add a bit of a special element to the experience.
We have a great combination of staff who are very familiar with the station, others who have been training intensively to learn more about the power station. So for example, our heritage team members who are very well acquainted with the power station, and others who've been training up on it. So a good mix, and we've been interviewing staff who previously worked at the power station, so we're incorporating those stories as well. So it's going to be a great guided tour opportunity.
I was reading an article, and I know not where now because I read from a lot of different sources, and there was this fellow that was being interviewed, and he said it's not unusual for someone to have worked alongside their father and grandfather at this facility. It's like it was almost a family business to be employed at the power station. I found that interesting.
That is true. So multi-generations of families who worked at the power station or worked in that industry. You know, we have the same thing in Niagara Parks. We've had multi-generations of families who have worked at Niagara Parks. So there's
Right.
that lineage and that history that goes back. And I think that really adds to the robustness of the experience.
David Adame, CEO of the Niagara Parks Commission. David, is there anything else that you want to offer up to us on this topic that we haven't touched on? Anything else? Anything I missed?
I just want to add that we've also developed a brand new welcome plaza, so the Niagara Parks Power Station Plaza. That is a great entry point as guests lead up to the north side of the building. So it's a grand entrance. You sort of get into the spirit. You hear the power of the river approaching the north entrance, and then you go through these beautiful copper doors to enter into the Cathedral of Power, as we call it. So that's the awe moment. But even that plaza experience, the outdoor experience, which really accentuates what Niagara Parks is about, that horticulture treatment, that outdoor experience, that'll be really special too.
That's terrific. Now, how long have you been with us now? When did you join us as CEO of the Commission?
So I've been CEO since 2019, but I joined Niagara Parks back in 2013.
Okay, well, you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to share the story.
This is really, really exciting. I hope you have a wonderful season. Congratulations on this.
It's been a great team effort, and we really appreciate the opportunity to share the story.
Terrific. Thanks, David.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And a tip of the straw hat to the Niagara Parks Commission Board and all of the folks there for facilitating this as well and getting behind this great project, because it's just so exciting for residents of Niagara. Thanks, man.
That's great. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I'm like a kid with a new toy with this, Kevin. I don't know why. It's just, I guess, one of those memories that sticks with you. David talked about an experience that is sticky, meaning that it stays with you. And I guess my images and memories of that area have stuck with me to a great degree. And there, of course, is the information, all of this stuff to do with the Niagara Power Generating Station. And if you Google this to learn about it, you should go to the Niagara Parks site, because there's some confusing information. I was talking to Kevin before this, and David mentioned it at the beginning of the conversation, that there was a Toronto power station. And I was getting the two of them confused because they're in close proximity to one another. And the one building was designed to specifically provide power to the city of Toronto from the water power of the Niagara Falls. And then this, etc. So very interesting stuff. Really neat.
I'm so glad they've done something with it. You can talk to anybody who visits Niagara Falls, and at some point in their visit, they said, "What's that building over there?"
Yeah, look at the architecture of that place.
What is that? And it's unfortunate because to park there, you have to drive right around the building.
Yeah.
So everybody sees it and goes, "What is that thing? Why can't I get in there?" And especially once it got shuttered in 2006, it's been sitting there waiting for a repurpose. And so kudos.
And that's what it was like for me, I guess, is why I'm so excited about it, is because I've always wanted to go inside that building. I've always wanted to go in there. And it's like, why can't I go in there?
Oh, I thought the connection you were trying to draw is that you were sitting around without a purpose, and then finally.
Well, I'm still sitting around without a purpose. What do you think I show up here to talk to you for? Okay. Gosh. Kevin, I swear.
Any opportunity, Lee.
I hope you have a nice, relaxing time when you're camping this week, and get out all your angst, so you're not grumpy when you go into restaurants anymore.
I know. I'm that guy. I'm that guy the waitresses are talking about.
Yeah.
We just had a family in here. These two uncontrollable kids bouncing off the walls. Actually, you know what? Those are not my children.
I get another napkin?
And I have to say kudos to the staff and everybody up at Bissell's Hideaway. We were just there. This isn't an endorsement. It's just my experience. And as we've mentioned many times, the show is open to anyone. So if you own a campground, you can come on the show right now. Just click the Zoom link and hop on in. You can talk about it. But Bissell's is an absolute camping gem. It's one of those places where it's in our backyard, so we take it for granted. Had you driven 3 or 4 hours to come to Bissell's, you'd return and tell all your friends, we need to go there next year.
I have not been to Bissell's for a long time, but used to go there periodically in my younger days, and it was always a great experience, always fun. Yeah, always great. And while we're talking about acknowledgements, I want to once again, and it's taken me a while to get back to this, I apologize to our sponsors because we've got yapping. But this is Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. We are fueled by Gales Gas Bars Limited. Jessica Friesen's going to be on this program. She's the CEO of Gales. She's going to be on this program herself. We haven't picked an exact date yet, but it is coming up. About her. She is now a new published and well-reviewed author. A book about her experience with postpartum depression, a very, very important subject that she felt the need to shine an even brighter light on, which she did, and we'll have her on to chat about that at some point in time. Not just because we'd have her on anyway, whether she was the CEO of Gales or not. This is sort of an alter ego altogether. And a Performance Heating and Air. The air in particular is the important part right now. Carlo and his gang at Performance Heating and Air, saving your family money because they have families here in Niagara too. NWIC, high-speed internet. Niagara's own. Built and run right here in Niagara. Also, to Mark Shirk and his gang at Verge Insurance Group, we really appreciate you supporting us. Want to thank Kevin at Beau Chapeau Hat Shop for making my shopping experience really nice a few days ago. Walked out with 4 hats. I felt like Marilyn Monroe with hat boxes and stuff walking out. It was just awesome. Julia, great service. They have something like 10,000 hats in this place at any given moment in time. 10,000 hats.
It's incredible, and they're expanding, Lee. And you said when you were in the store, the other half isn't open yet.
It's not. Yeah, they've got a repair place section going to be opening in the very, very near future. It was scheduled to open earlier in the spring, but COVID and all that stuff has pushed everything back. So, and they promised to let me know when that would be opening. So we'll let you know. The problem with there is one problem with going into Beau Chapeau hat shop. Did I say head shop? That's totally different.
Lots of those creeping around.
Yeah, Beau Chapeau Hat Shop on Queen Street in Niagara-on-the-Lake is not what you're going to buy. It's what you want to leave behind. But I like that. And then I like this, and so I got 4. I got 4 hats. Okay, so it's just it's sometimes a trip into another world, because I mean they've got the Indiana Jones hats, and they've got and if you're into toques and ball caps and like all, not just hats like fedora type hat, all kinds of hats.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Now we're going to get Kevin from Beau Chapeau on the show sometime. I want to wait for that
when they get the repair thing open.
Exactly. The repair thing, as I understand, they acquired all of the old repair equipment from a historic hat maker
in Hamilton,
Toronto,
right?
Hamilton.
Hamilton, I thought.
And they just ceased operation. It wasn't the pandemic. They've been around for 100 years or what have you.
Yeah.
So most of this equipment that he has, like, they don't make it anymore.
No.
It's you know, the 50, 60, 70, some 80-year-old equipment that was built right back in the day, you know? No plastic parts, all steel, forged iron, and that's what they're working with. But can't wait to get a inside glimpse into what's going on.
Some of the literature I was reading as well about Beau Chapeau is the fact that they will take buy your vintage hats. Like if you've got something that has been handed down through the family, say from your daddy, your grandfather, great-grandfather, whatever, that could use a home, they would love you to bring the hat in, and they might be able to redo it for you at the right time. So it's a very, men and women too, I might add. It's men's side, women's side, etc. So there's it's gender inclusive, of course, and the personnel, they know what they're talking about. They're absolutely terrific. So anyway, thanks for making that a good experience. That was actually, you know what, Kevin? I think that was one of the very first, if not the first, together sort of stroll and shopping experience that my wife and I participated in together since the whole COVID thing, right? So, one of the other things that I wanted to mention, that if you can call this the end of an era, is this headline: St. Catharines vaccination clinic is shutting down next month. Now, I had both of my COVID shots, both of them the Pfizer shot, both of them so smooth and well conducted, and I had a bit of a sore arm if I did this kind of thing, but nothing that I could complain about as a side effect to either one of the shots. And I had both of mine at Seymour Hanna, or affectionately known as the 4-Pad in St. Catharines. And as I said, both experiences were terrific, but in an indication that the region has a strong handle on mass vaccination, the Seymour Hanna Clinic has carried the lion's share of getting the jab. I hate that phrase. I really don't like the jab. It's a shot. It's a needle. It's jab. Anyway, that's what people say to try to be creative with their writing. Has carried the lion's share of getting the needle in residents' arms. As of July the 22nd, just a handful of days ago, the region's largest clinic managed to get 240,000 plus vaccinations to residents. 240,000. A sizable percentage of the 596,000 total vaccines given in Niagara. So it's a sign that we are moving forward. We've got a pretty good penetration into the market for vaccinations. Niagara Health said while Seymour Hanna would be shutting down in less than a month, a smaller clinic would be opened at the St. Catharines Hospital. So there will still be ways to get it.
Now, we just got this update in regards to the operations at Seymour Hanna. This was posted 11 minutes ago on Niagara 411.
Okay. My increased vision issues make it impossible for me to read that.
No, that's cool. Well, the headline is they're expanding the walk-in hours.
Oh, okay.
And here, let's see if I can get you some details. Starting today,
Niagara Health Seymour Hanna Vaccination Clinic is accepting walk-in appointments on a first-come, first-served basis for first and second doses between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. All right. And then, of course, you can go to provincial booking tool right there.
Right, so there you go. I'm not exactly sure I'm up to speed how that changes what they were already doing for walk-in.
Well, I'm wondering about that because when I went there for my second jab, there was a long line out the other direction from the Seymour Hanna, and these looked to me like people who were just waiting and waiting and waiting to get in, and all of us that had appointments were sort of lined up in the other direction. So I thought they already did walk in, but I guess they're machining it a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're maybe expanding the hours, expanding age restrictions if there were any. Not entirely sure. But while we're on that topic, we can take a glance just at current COVID numbers.
Yeah, let's do that. New cases. Now we're back to sort of the pre-third, second wave type numbers. 3 for today. Active cases 49 in the entire region. Resolved cases 1, which kind of makes sense. Total number of cases. Is that real, Kev? I mean, it has to be real, but
yeah.
I guess it's a rhetorical question is where I'm going here. Does that mean, am I translating this correctly, that the total number of cases for the entire region, all in, total pandemic period of time, 16,000? That's it?
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yes, sir.
And we have a population of almost 600,000, or between 500 and 600,000 people. Sorry, I still... I don't know what that means. But it seems to me a low number. And yet, there have been so many people that I know that have had loved ones very ill or have passed away, or have been not able to have been seen because we couldn't have access to their long-term care facilities for a year and a half, or I don't know, there are just, I have to believe that there will be some sort of complete analysis or autopsy, if you will, on the whole COVID thing. A debrief somehow, somewhere, that, and it'll take years probably for it to happen, that we can explain the correlation of these numbers and what happened, and things that didn't need to happen perhaps, or maybe should have happened more often or happened sooner, and like all of these questions. If you were to put together they have those FAQs on what frequently asked questions. I'm sure we could all come up with a list of frequently asked questions about all things to do with COVID-19 that we would love to see answered. Okay, here's my list of 10. What are yours? And then maybe somebody will be commissioned to do the research that just might be able to answer most of those questions. Because Kevin, are you with me here?
Yeah.
Are there not a lot of unanswered questions? The school stuff, all the things that small businesses and parents were put through all of this, and there were 16,000 cases. Now, Dr. Hergy might say, well, 16,000 is a lot of people, and it is a lot of people. And we did have some people pass, and even 1 is too many, I get that. But, on the other hand, is it a number that we should be going crazy about?
Right. And hopefully there will be some post-analysis done by
I really do hope
Canada, done by nations and experts all over the world that are looking back at our reaction and saying, was it warranted? Was it warranted in this sector? Was it warranted in that sector? So that there's more of a framework moving forward if, there's a COVID-20 on the horizon.
Exactly.
Or whatever. I don't know.
Because, well, the medical experts or the scientists say, we're not out of the woods as far as pandemics are concerned. Who knows what the next new crazy bug is going to be?
Yeah, bird
we don't
flu,
know.
Mad cow. What's it going to be? Right? We've mostly avoided all those, but for me, this is something brand new in my life and in my generation. Dealing with a pandemic, I guess experts will always say, we'll look over the course of history, look at the Spanish flu, look at Black Plague, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but we weren't alive then. We didn't know that stuff then.
I thought we were past that. I got my measles shots.
I thought we'd figured it out.
I thought so. Lee, I want to share this. Now, the proprietor here, the owner of Fiddler's Poorhouse.
Oh, did you find what we were talking about before?
Yeah, Dave Mookparian.
Oh, this is awesome.
And Dave also owns Monty's.
Yes.
Up on Ontario Street.
Yeah.
And he's owned that. I think he acquired it during the pandemic, and it's doing great business up there. He's got a huge patio. Yeah. If you're looking for a place to go and you live in the North End, make sure you visit Mook and the staff out at Monty's.
My wife and I were there last night.
And no grumpy people.
I wasn't grumpy.
Yeah,
Nobody was grumpy.
Nobody was grumpy.
Nobody grumpy.
No, Monty's is fantastic, but this is why we're showing this. So Dave is involved with the St. Catharines Kiwanis.
Okay.
And right now, I just sense that there's a very large truck about to pass. There we go.
Thank you for your service, firemen, especially in this hot weather.
And Canadian Red Cross shortly behind. They don't seem to be in a rush, though, so that's always good news.
Can't imagine wearing one of those great big canvas uniforms in this weather.
So MOOC is involved in some capacity with St. Catharines Kiwanis, and as a fundraiser, they're running a Chase the Ace right now.
Okay.
So they did a live drawing up at Monty's with MOOC, and you've seen these videos before, but this one hasn't gone viral. It's just local, where they're doing the live stream and they can't seem to turn off the rotating filter.
Oh, the filter?
Yeah, that's putting like their cat eyes on them and stuff like that. So here, let's pull this up and see what we can do with this.
Fiddlers, we got the same.
We're getting.
It's Dave Mukparian on your right.
I know, I had a good thing. How you doing? Hi, everybody. Oh, see, I got that eye thing.
Uh-oh.
Did you see this?
Oh, is that on fake? What are they doing now? Hey, look, I got that thing going on. We're live, too. Right?
Are we really?
Yeah, look, you got that now, too. You're a cat.
Thank you. You're killing me.
We're
Now, I
live,
didn't
so.
plan for this, but it makes it even better.
I don't know, you're doing a really bad job there. Hey, now you're a wizard. Okay, we're having way too much fun.
Yes, we are.
Hey, now we're switching back and forth.
We are.
This is fun.
Ladies
So
and
hi,
gentlemen,
everybody.
you're
Now we're
adults
in the dark. I think this is
in the room.
Chris Versick here with the Kiwanis Club of St. Catharines. Hey, now I'm a blues brother.
Yes.
We're doing the week 9 of the jackpot. Hey, look, I got a mustache down at the eyes there. So week 9 of the Kiwanis Catch the Ace, and we're here at Monty's Gastro Pub on Ontario Street. And Dave's going to announce what our jackpot is for us.
So today's jackpot is 20.
That's the progressive jackpot.
Progressive jackpot. $2,466
With a weekly jackpot of?
of $264.
So the winner is, we just pulled the numbers out, and Dave's going to read out the numbers for us. Can you read that?
Yeah, I think so.
You want my glasses?
You should give
It's
it
a little dark in there.
Okay, so 9.
The roving
9,
flashlight.
0, 0, 0, 1, 4, 5, 0, 0, 5.
And that is the 6 of diamonds. So no ace this week. We're on
All right.
week 10 of Catch the Ace. And don't forget to stop by Monty's Gastro Pub. Dave, anything you want to say about what you guys got going on here at Monty's?
We just opened indoor dining again, and we just launched a brand new menu, so we're hoping everyone will come out and try the new menu.
Yeah, come
Very
support
excited.
local. Come support local.
Yes.
Support Monty's, and come try their new menu.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day, everybody.
have to-
See you next week.
Dave, you got to turn the background around so that we can actually read Monty's on the camera.
So here's the update, just to give Kiwanis their props. But boy, that's the type of thing that you see on ABC News about going viral.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
it was the Kiwanis Club, but obviously they were doing another draw here last night with a weekly jackpot of $248. And there's our good friend Ryan, one of the staffers here at Fiddler's Poorhouse. So this is the draw from last night, and the Monty's one would have been last week.
And that Chase the Ace thing is something, Kevin, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, as you always do, but not that that's ever the case. But wasn't this something that started on the East Coast for the first time, somewhere in Newfoundland or Nova Scotia or someplace out there, where they made this Chase the Ace thing famous because it was a fundraiser that lasted so long, and it was a massive community event, like something like 10,000 people showed up at the end of this thing because the chasing of the ace took ages before the money was ever awarded.
You're bang on.
Yeah.
And people were driving, they had to have crowd control and divert traffic.
It was nuts.
Just to accommodate the crowds that were trying to roll in to buy a ticket.
And I thought it was kind of cool that some organizations in this area took a page out of their book and thought, hey, we should do this, because it's a fun way to raise some money, and people get caught up in it like they get caught up in any kind of lottery. And it's such a simple thing, such a simple concept. You buy a ticket every week, and you get a card, and you hope it's the ace, and if it isn't, you move on, and the jackpot goes up, right? So.
And while we're talking about that, Lee, this is also brand new on Niagara 411. We were just talking about lotteries and also the great work done by Niagara Health. Well, this is the Niagara Health Foundation, which of course is the fundraising arm for NHS, which is keeping us all healthy.
Yeah, indeed. And to all those people, I know that there has been a lot of confusion in the world of health in Niagara and everywhere through the province and the country, the world for that matter. But to all those workers that are finally, hopefully, being able to get into some routine of normalcy, congratulations that you and thank you for getting us through this far. We hope there's no fourth wave. We hope the waves can stop. And it's nice to see that we've got that kind of penetration into the market with regard to vaccination. So again, I don't even work here. Want to thank Gales Gas Bars for fueling the program. WeeStreem, Kevin's company, along with his partner Brandon Scram, and WeeStream, Niagara's, Ontario's premier, and if not even further borders than that, streaming service. And Kevin, you threw a wedding up that you did last week for us. What's going on in your life? Have you been okay? You've been doing all right?
I've been doing all right. We're camping last week, so not a lot of activity. That's a void on the WeeStream calendar, and this week as well. But keep getting wedding requests, and I'm telling you, you're absolutely unparalleled. Online is the place to be, and if you want to bring your event online, talk to us. I know beginning of September we're going to be helping the Chamber of Commerce out in West Lincoln.
Right.
So we look forward to helping them. And tonight I will be in Port Colborne streaming their city council meeting.
Oh, never a dull moment, eh?
So not a lot of exciting things for a lot of people, but if you're a municipal nerd like I am to a degree, I enjoy being in the walls there of city council, and I'll be down there in Port Colborne tonight, watching the comings and goings.
Well, we should watch local politics more than perhaps we do, and yeah, it can be pretty dry because of the procedures and the protocols that they have to follow as far as running a meeting is concerned. You have to go through certain steps, etc. But if you do watch these council proceedings, it's amazing the perspective you can get about what it is your local politicians do on a regular basis. People
have said it. I will. I've got an interesting position there. I'm almost a fly on the wall, right?
Yeah.
I'm an independent third party that sits through a lot of these council meetings, and in many cases, I know the delegates. Those are people that sign up just to talk and present to city council.
Right.
And I also know a lot of the councilors and the mayors and the city staff, and it's an interesting balance. But you nailed it. Nothing affects your day-to-day life more than municipal politics, and it's the one that is the most accessible to you.
I was going to say it's the one that you can influence, because believe me, these councillors do listen to what their critics and commenters and constituents say, because most of them do want to get re-elected, and you're the ones that do that. So you can watch those proceedings. Now I know you do Port Colborne, you do Niagara Falls, you do Welland.
And the NPCA.
And
coming up in September, we may add a couple other municipalities across Niagara, but if you're getting a subpar stream from your local municipality, by all means, talk to your local councillors and suggest that they farm out their services with a professional organization like WeeStream.
And all you have to do is watch 5 or 10 minutes of this program to realize that the quality of this product. There he goes again. Hi, guys.
Hey, boys.
The quality and flexibility of this product is pretty cool for sponsors and viewers and participants like me to boot. And Niagara 411 contributors, we appreciate what you do. Nick of Niagara 411, Nick's mom, always a hello to you as well. And one of the things that I want to mention, let's tee up who we have singing or performing to close out our show today.
It's going to be a surprise artist, Lee, and by that I mean I've got about the next 5 or 6 minutes to figure that out.
I knew that's what you meant. A surprise artist meeting. I don't have anybody.
Well, no. It's a surprise, Lee. It's better. You hook them in, right? You hook in the audience. They say, if I told them and they didn't like that particular artist, they might go somewhere else. But knowing that I'm dangling this carrot.
Kevin, you weren't prepared.
I'm trying to make lemonade out of lemons here,
You
Lee.
weren't prepared. Come on. No, I'm only kidding.
No, you're bang on. Absolutely bang on. That's not mince words.
As you can guess, Kevin and I have a pretty decent relationship. No sacred cows in this room. Kevin, by the way.
Yes, sir.
What is the schedule for the next couple of weeks so that I don't sleep in? Now, we were on Tuesday last week at noon. We're on Monday this week at 11. What's happening the first weekend of August?
Not exactly sure. I'm looking to get away on another family camping trip on the Thursday where we would normally do the show. So maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, we can talk about that off the air, or we can just hash it out right now. All
right, we're gonna have to talk seriously to a counselor and get some sort of commitment from you.
My commitment is waning.
After what you and other young families have gone through over the past 12 months, believe me, you all deserve some R&R to the nth degree, no question.
Well, thank you. And just so you know, it's not that I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to find the surprise guest.
Well, that's okay, because I have something I can do here.
Okay, great.
I have other things to do. Niagara Falls, this jumped out at me this week. Niagara Falls is seeking public input about potential 9.3 kilometer rail trail. Now, the headline got my interest. Okay, trail, I get, but rail trail? What does that mean? Well, this is really kind of neat. And I learned something that I didn't know. Niagara Falls is developing a master plan for a city-wide trail that would link downtown Niagara Falls with nearby communities, connect parks and open spaces, and enhance recreation, tourism, and active transportation opportunities across the municipality. Now, the project area extends within the general footprint of the historic Niagara, St. Catharines, and Toronto Railway Corridor, approximately 9.3 kilometers east to west, across Niagara Falls between Queen Street and Erie Avenue and Feulled Town Line Road. It was called the NSNT Railway. It was an interurban electric railway that operated from 1899 to 1959. It was based in St. Catharines and had lines to Niagara-on-the-Lake, Port Dalhousie, Niagara Falls, Feulled, Welland, and Port Colborne. Did you know this? I never knew this. At its peak, the NSNT comprised roughly 120 kilometers of track and numerous yards carrying passengers, mail, express baggage, and freight. In 1960, NSNT fully merged into Canadian National Railway. And of course, we're all familiar with CNR. Now, this is so cool. We talk about politicians at the regional level as well as the municipal level have been talking about connectivity and transportation issues between the municipalities all across the Niagara region, and the fact that one of the things that we don't have down yet to a science or a fine art is transportation between region or between communities, municipalities. So this to me seems like something they could incredibly profitably build on. Many of the remnant lines and their vestiges remain visible throughout the city and provide the unique opportunity for a new and modern transportation network, said city staff. To me, Kevin, we were just talking about municipal governments. We accuse municipal governments all the time of living with their heads in the sand and nothing new develops, nothing ever happens. It's just sort of same old, carping back and forth, integrity commissioners and all this other crap that goes on. This, to me, strikes a chord of creativity that I haven't seen much of in municipalities. This could really connect Niagara in a cool way, to follow the rail lines that are or were already there. The rights of ways I'm assuming, would already be there. So that's cool. David Antonson, sorry, Dave, if I'm screwing up your name. But he's a landscape architect with the city of Niagara Falls. Said public demand for recreational trails has grown during the last decade. A quote from David is, if constructed, the NS&T Rail Trail would provide Niagara Falls residents with a new recreational opportunity to get physically active through walking, jogging, and cycling, just to mention a few. Wintertime activities like cross-country skiing and snowshoeing could also be a possibility. And they're looking for your feedback on this. So the city is welcoming public feedback on it. So if you go to City of Niagara Falls, you Google their homepage, you'll find this. It's the My City Let's Talk website. And you've got up until August the 6th to have a look at what the plans are and then give them some feedback as to any comments you might have to assist them, or if there's some reason why this isn't a good idea, by all means, let them know that as well. But I don't know, it just seemed like one of those projects that could really psychologically, physically connect Niagara to Niagara, which is kind of what this program is all about. So I thought I would mention it and see what you could do. I had no idea that there was a railway designed for that express purpose of moving people and baggage and mail, etc., from all points around Niagara to other points in the Niagara region. First time I'd ever heard of it. And I don't know who from the, maybe it was David, whose name I screwed up, that actually came up with the idea. If it is, by all means, kudos to you. But whoever it is that stumbled across this and decided to make it a thing, congratulations. I mean, even if it takes a while to happen, or if it doesn't really happen to your fullest imagination, it's really cool to have something creative to think about. Kevin, as always, it's a pleasure working with you. I hope you and your family enjoy your summer off the charts. It's been a real pleasure, and yeah, we'll keep moving this thing around, but we will also do a lot of In Case You Missed It posts on Niagara 411 so that you can relive portions of the show that you might have missed over the weeks where we've been moving it around a little bit. And for the patience of our sponsors, Gales Gas, Performance Heating and Air, NWIC, and Verge Insurance Group, thank you for putting up with us moving the show around a little bit. And we all hope you and your families have great summers as well. My name is Lee Sterry. I thank you also for the new chapeau to Beau Chapeau Hat Shop in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And I guess we'll let everybody know when we're up next week, right?
Yeah, you'll see us post the event in Niagara 411, and you'll find us. And like Lee said, we keep putting up the In Case You Missed It post. So
yeah,
don't worry if you missed the live show, because you can always watch us on demand.
And without further ado, I'm sure you will give us an idea whom is going to play us off the stage today.
Well, you know what? I like this tune so much. When we played it about 2 months ago, I said, let's just go back there. Donnie Yonder, I think they're from Welland, and they put together this thing, Take Back Your Love. It's just a summer song. It's an earworm, gets stuck in your head.
Have yourselves a fabulous week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Go Niagara. See ya.
I'm tired. I'm just tired.